Here we go again. Let's talk about another Mark Carney's drama. Here is Wiley Unleashed, Carney stashing cash in Bermuda, avoiding the taxman.
On the tax dodgers at tax season. Hi, I'm Brian Lilly, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. I don't know about you, but I've been looking at my tax forms the last little while, trying to make sure that I've dotted every I, crossed every T, that everything is just so. That's not the way everyone operates, though. You've heard by now about Mark Carney registering his two funds worth a
Yep.
combined 25 billion US from Brookfield Asset Management in Bermuda. $25 billion worth of investments registered to, well, a little office above a bike shop. This doesn't look like the headquarters of a
Ridiculous.
multi-billion-dollar fund. No, this looks like a tax dodge. And Carney has been under question about this ever since CBC broke the story. CTV followed up. Several media outlets have asked
Whoa,
about it.
whoa, whoa,
Well,
wait. CBC broke the story? Is that the same CBC Carney pretty much offered $150 million a year if he gets elected? Don't tell me that doesn't sound dodgy.
now, as you and I are doing our taxes, conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is trying to, well, kind of lean on this and make it into an issue, saying that while most of us are paying our
It
fair
is
share,
issue.
some are not, like Mark Carney, and he is promising to close tax loopholes.
Mark Carney did all of this while his company dodged Canadian taxes. Can you imagine? He was advising Justin Trudeau to hike the
Prime
carbon tax
Minister who
and
dodges
increase
taxes.
inflationary spending, while his company stashed its cash in Bermuda
Ridiculous.
to avoid paying their fair share. Mark Carney, like all liberals, is a high tax hypocrite, making you pay more while he dodges his bill.
Now, Carney,
I mean, let's think about it for a second. Obviously, if Mark Carney was just a businessman, if he wasn't into politics, we would all understand it, right? You don't want to give Canada, you want to give them as less as you can. Let's be honest. It's your hard-earned money. Well, in this case, it's probably not that hard-earned. But anyway, it's your money. You don't want to give them, I don't know, 30%. But if you're prime minister, you're pretty much robbing your country. Like you want everyone else to pay the taxes. You refuse to lower the taxes. You refuse to get rid of the carbon tax for the industrial purposes. You zero the carbon tax for the households, which means it can come back whenever he wants to. And yet you, personally, you, Mark Carney, move all of your funds somewhere where Canada can take your tax, cannot take the fair share, and you're supposed to represent Canada. That's ridiculous. Like if it's pretty much the prime minister is stealing money from Canada. Like it's ridiculous. And that's not the first thing he did, right? He moved the headquarters of Brookfield from Toronto to New York, so that's the first thing. And now this Bermuda, it's just ridiculous. Like, how can people trust him? How can you trust someone who preaches that citizens need to pay taxes, and at the same time he's trying to find the loopholes how not to do his fair share? Like I said, if he was normal businessman, not representative of Canada pretty much, you would kind of understand it, right? But when he's supposed to be our prime minister and he's doing this shit, that's ridiculous.
he has always just said, look, I know how the world works. This is fine. This is by the book. I'm allowed to do this. He was asked about that today.
I don't agree
and started
that
talking
PM
about
is allowed
following
to
the
do it.
spirit of the law.
Hi, Mr. Carney. Abigail Beeman, CTV News. On tax havens in relation to Brookfield, you've said that you know how the world works. Should Canadians infer from that that you wouldn't condemn the use of tax havens?
I've very strong. I have a long career in the private sector. I've a longer career in the public
we
sector.
know.
What's important is that we have a effective tax system, and that companies, every company, follows the rules of those
That's
tax,
ridiculous, man.
to not just the letter but the spirit of those regulations, and we need to continue to refine our tax system to ensure that companies are paying their fair share of tax.
I would say
you?
that setting up a $25 billion fund in Bermuda to avoid paying Canadian taxes is not following the spirit of any law. That is
No.
clearly a tax dodge. And the NDP has calculated that Carney, while he was at Brookfield, helped the company avoid $5.3 billion in taxes. $5.3 billion
Here we go.
in taxes.
5.3 billion that would go to improve Canada as a country, right? That's what the tax monies are here for. It's supposed to pay for the infrastructure, pay for the economical growth and all of this stuff, right? And yet Mark Carney, our prime minister, is trying to do everything he can not to pay his fair share. And that's just ridiculous, man.
The Liberal Party is famous for this. They say that you need to pay your fair
They
share,
are.
that small businesses are tax cheats, that the wealthy just need to pay more. But they always end up finding top.
Just think about it for a second. Sorry for pausing the video again. But if our prime minister is not confident in Canada enough to keep his money in Canada, like, what is that example? Like, if our taxes are too high for him, so why doesn't he work against it? Why doesn't he try to lower it? As a prime minister, he's the one person that has the power to change it. And yet he decides that he's going to go for his personal interest. He's going to move his money while everyone else will pay high taxes. Like, how is this normal? Come on, people, wake up. Like, this gentleman is just a scammer or businessman, or call it whatever you want, but he's not a prime minister. He's not a person who's supposed to represent Canadian interests. And he's proving it all over again.
Tax dodges and loopholes, like showing up in the Paradise Papers, having their wealth offshore in the Caribbean somewhere. That's not something that is available to most of us. But Mark Carney used that, and he continues to use that. His funds are protected. Those funds set up in Bermuda continue to pay him, even despite the fact that he's put all his assets in a blind trust. He can't get rid of the payments that come from the funds that he founded. And this guy is trying to say that people need to pay their fair share. How about he starts by following the spirit of the law and paying his fair share of taxes? Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That's ridiculous. Like, I have no words. If this is not an example of a tax evasion or a conflict of interest, then I don't know what else is. Like, it's even more evidence than what Trudeau used to do, how he paid his mom $250K for an hour-long speech or something like that. Like, really, tell me you're corrupted without telling me you're corrupted. It's ridiculous. People, just please do your research before you go vote. Again, like I said, obviously, I'm not okay if you're gonna vote Liberals. I would love everyone to vote for change, and that the change comes with Conservatives. But as long as you do your research and you make informed decision, that's all I can ask. So again, don't vote for the color or for the quote or for how whoever looks like. Do your research what they stand for, do your research what they did in the past, what they're planning to do in the future, and then go and vote. For myself, I said it multiple times, vote Conservatives, vote for change, vote for Canadian promise, and let's put Canada first again.